Adam?
Yes, Richard. Hi.
Adam, please tell me what your radio show?
It's it's a podcast. It's like Gilbert's show.
Okay. and what is it called?
Filmwax. I'll spell it for you. Filmwax. Filmwax. I call it Filmwax Radio.
Oh.
Yeah. I just made it up, the term.
Great.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything.
I love it.
Oh, great. Well, I love you.
Thanks.
No, you're supposed to say, and I love you.
And I love you.
That's right. Perfect. Yeah. It was a lot of fun to watch the Auggie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed you specifically.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Well, that's very nice of you. Yeah, I'll tell you something since you know film, and we'll be able to talk about such things in detail and know what we're talking about. It since you've seen the movie, You have no idea what the budget on this thing is. It was pennies, and I am not kidding.
Well,
pennies.
It's funny.
Pennies it cost to make this.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah,
well, I'm sure Samuel Goldwyn appreciates. Go ahead.
But hold on. What I can tell you is that I never thought this thing would see the light of day because, as you know, it costs a certain amount of money to make a movie, but to distribute it,
yes,
that's where the money is.
Right.
Oh my God! I mean, it's almost stupid that a movie costs that much money to distribute. And then, before we were making this, if you had told me that we were going to get distribution, I would have laughed. Mm-hmm. I never thought this thing would see the light of day.
And that has not. Go ahead. Sorry.
And that we would be picked up by Samuel Goldwyn, which is one of the most prestigious distributors of all time. It kills me. It's fantastic.
Well, the film stars Richard Kane.
Yeah, but you know me. Oh, believe me. Friday comes around. There's not one person in the world who says, "Oh, Rich Kane has a new movie out. I gotta go see it."
And those that do say that are going to say, "I can't wait for a rollicking laugh riot time." It's going to be like they're going to get there and they're going to be sitting waiting to laugh their asses off, and they're going to see. But
and it just ain't.
But I do think you. Go ahead.
Hold on. Because you talk about movies, do you know that when Fred McMurray did The Apartment?
I love that.
And he was known for doing wholesome Disney movies. A woman wrote and said how disappointed she was that he did this movie. She took her young son, to see the movie, and that it was this, and that he never did an adult movie ever again. The man who was in Double Indemnity.
Right, I was going to say that.
Westerns and The Apartment, and he only did family entertainment from then on.
Well, wasn't he doing? So she saw obviously The Apartment after the fact. She didn't see it when it came out because she would have known that he did. Fred McMurray, like you, did mostly kind of heavier roles, right?
Sure.
And it wasn't till later on that he.
Then he was known for Flubber, and he was known for The Absent-Minded Professor.
My
and
Three
all
Sons
the
later on.
Movies, so she thought, well, right, I'll take my son to see this because it's Fred McMurray. And then she was, well, I'm not saying America is made up of very smart people, but that's what ended up happening.
I think.
So even then.
I know, and all the comments you were relating to me at the beginning when you were expressing your doubt at every step has nothing to do at all with the quality of the film. It all has to do with films today. The long shot of getting a film like this and the budget you described, getting it out into the world. It had nothing to do with the actual quality of the film itself, because it's a very.
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, sometimes the better the movie, the more any distributor will doubt that it will sell, and therefore why waste money? So this is, what I am saying. You're absolutely right. What I am saying is this is a little minute movie that is so good for what it is.
That's right.
That somebody stood up at the plate, came to the plate to represent it, and I think that that's a mark of how lovely this movie is. It's not a great movie, but it's a movie that deserves attention.
Wow, you really are great at marketing this movie. It's not a great movie.
But it's true. Well, it's it isn't a great movie. We know what great movies are.
All right.
Two young guys.
Double
I
Indemnity.
think that there were three people on the entire film who were over 35.
Mm-hmm.
Who are involved.
And you were one of them.
Played my wife, and I think the sound, me and the guy who did the sound. Otherwise, everybody was under 35, definitely, maybe even under 30.
In other words,
the director, the writer, they're young guys, they're young people.
Yeah.
It's their first movie.
So, in other words, these are people whose souls haven't been crushed, their wills haven't been crushed yet by the reality.
Oh, yeah, and it's astounding. It's astounding that their first movie got picked up like this. And God only knows, and I don't think it took them that long to get it made because they didn't need that much money. They made it on a shoestring and were able to do it.
But I think, even though Matt Kane, who's director and producer and writer, he's obviously had a hand in the choice of casting you.
Yes.
It's another, what you would think on paper doesn't make sense. Here is comic actor Richard Kind. Let's cast him in this very...
I agree with you. I used to ask him 5 times a day, why did you hire me? What in my resume would you possibly put a movie like this on my shoulders? It's not a typical movie for me. Now, if you've ever seen me on stage or do other small films, you can. And you know that there is a sympathetic quality. I don't want to say in every man, but my eyes are nice and they're okay and they look helpful and stuff like that. So I guess I could see that. They had originally asked Kevin Bacon because one of them was friends with Kevin Bacon's kid, so the script got to Kevin Bacon, and they asked him because why not? Kevin Bacon can get a movie made, but Richard Kind can't get a movie made. But they made it themselves, and they got it made and got it distributed.
And
I could not believe that they asked me. Couldn't believe it.
Well, how do you think you did?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm pretty good in the movie.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that. I think I served the movie very well.
I do too, and I think...
Yeah, I not only did my job, I was able to be a little bit of an everyman in this movie, which surprised me too.
Yeah, there's a bit of a Willy Loman meets... I don't know, Willy Loman, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
A bit of a... You're playing a very melancholy guy who's forced out, retired, and feels useless.
While the women in his life are all, they have the world ahead of them.
Yeah.
The wife gets a promotion, even though she's of a certain age. The daughter is graduating from law school. She's got her whole life ahead. And unlike Willy Loman, we are a very happy family.
That's true.
And although I am forced out, it is an ugly forcing out. It's not something that will drive me to suicide. It will just drive me to what the hell am I going to do with the rest of my life? Am I really going out the pasture? But I'm not.
Yeah. He is sort of a Billy Wilder kind of character that I think about it.
Very much. You know what? You're absolutely right. He is a Billy Wilder type character.
Yeah.
Not exactly a schnook, but he's
Schlemiel.
The troubled. No, not even that. I mean, you have William Holden in Sunset Boulevard, who's down on his luck.
Right.
You have C.C. Baxter in The Apartment, who is, just he's just a lemming pressing buttons, and he happens to, things happen to them that propel their life into an area that they never saw themselves in. And I think that's very Billy Wilder-esque. That's what happens to them. Some event, who would ever think that he would be pulling into the driveway of an old former movie queen? But he does, and that's what it is. I think it's interesting. Very Billy Wilder-esque. I am not very William Holden-esque, but it is very Wilder-esque.
Well, don't let it get back to Matt Kane that some podcaster was comparing him to Billy Wilder. Go right to his 35-year-old head, and we don't need that.
Yeah. You want to know something? The whole thing that this movie is getting distributed is probably going to his head. It's crazy. I know veterans of the film world who are writing movies, and they just can't get the damn thing made. After 7 years, they're just working and they're trying. trying, and they're just trying to get somebody to make it. And these kids made it. They did, and it's getting released.
Yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely
well,
crazy.
But I think his choosing you, because you expressed, I don't have to repeat it, but we were talking about how you were not stunt casting, but you were certainly an unlikely choice, right? So I
believe
but I think that Matt and his casting director, whoever he's used, I think it's a very smart move, because even though Kevin Bacon, you said, was offered the role, but I think choosing somebody like you who's not known for drama, at least to the broader film-going audience, you said maybe in the theater circles they're more familiar with your dramatic work, that in a way it's going to get people's attention, like, oh, I didn't expect Richard and the marketing stuff, the trailer, the poster, it's compelling. It's so that's what
I'm glad to hear you say that.
And I'm glad, and it gave me the chance to get you on this, and I've been wanting to talk to you for ages. I have to be honest, So,
very nice.
Whatever works,
that too.
So I think in a way this.
And I have been wanting to talk to you.
So do you?
I am a huge lover of film, so
I know
actually,
that. Yeah.
It's not a bad thing that we're talking.
No, and we can. I'm going to bring it up another level since we have a few. I don't know how much time you have, but I'm up in Maine at a film festival right now, actually. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's beautiful here. It's just like it's gorgeous. Camden, Maine. It's right on the ocean. It's beautiful. Well, here's another film reference for you. The eyeglasses are a MacGuffin. Yes or no? What do you think? The glasses, the augmented reality glasses. This is what Auggie stands for, right? It's your augmented reality. So you're the glass. The use and the device is these glasses that you're given at your retirement party, and it's a bit of a MacGuffin in a way. It's a stretch for me to say that.
Oh, a bit of a MacGuffin.
Yeah,
a bit of a MacGuffin. I see what you're saying.
It's a stretch, but I'm going into Hitchcock territory, I guess. I feel like the issues are the relationship and his feeling of uselessness.
Wow, I don't see any of Hitchcock's stuff in this thing.
Okay, we could take
I'm glad you do. What I do see is F. Scott Fitzgerald. Do you remember the glasses in Great Gatsby? The street, there was a sign, an eye doctor, and the glasses were always there, and it was like he was being looked at all the time. But that's the closest I can get. I think that I don't see any of Hitchcock in this movie. I'm glad you do.
No.
I see it's more of like a Black Mirror.
Well, I was going to go there too. Yeah. Why didn't he put this on? He would have had a much larger budget if he had put it on Black Mirror. If he had tried, did he try to sell this idea to Black Mirror? Now that you brought it up, I feel like I can ask. I don't know if you know, because it seemed like such a natural story for.
Oh. No, I don't believe he even entered that zone at all. And why would he? Although he is English and Black Mirror is produced in England, I don't. No, not for I think that they set out to make a movie.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. It's so interesting. I always say art and commerce should not mix, and they do, because movie making is a business. TV is a business. Even theater, although it's all a business. These guys were making an independent film.
Right.
I think what they want to do is have success in the film world, and they need a calling card. And they got together and they wrote a script that would say, I think with the limited number of people in the movie and the limited number of sets, we can make this movie for ... Can we do it? And I believe that not only did they do it, they did it better than they ever thought they could. I really do. I don't think that they ever thought that this movie would. I bet they didn't think it would get distributed. Of course, everybody does a movie with the hopes that people will see it, but I don't think that they ever thought that this movie would get distribution. That's my it's just my feeling.
Yeah,
I could be absolutely wrong, but of course nobody enters any project project, saying, well, this will never see the light of day, although I entered into this project thinking this will never see the light of day. I did. I never thought anybody would see it. It was 12 days. It took 12 days to shoot. It was easy.
12 days. Can you imagine? 12 days? Amazing.
And can you, when you see, when I tell you the budget, which I'm not going to do,
don't, yeah.
You simply would be shocked. It's
please tell me the budget. Okay, nobody's listening. Just tell me the budget.
I can't tell you. But I can tell you that many things were donated. Time, like with editing of some stuff. Yes. It's pretty great. It's just great. They were what's it called? Gonzo filmmakers.
That's right.
Making a very un-Gonzo-like film.
Oh, and it looks like an expensive film. And I had this similar conversation with. I'm not name dropping on purpose. It just happens to be the case where Bruce Dern, who, by the way, did work for Alfred Hitchcock a couple of times in his career, but he also is in
certainly Family Plot.
That's right, but
I think he only did one Hitchcock movie.
Well, I thought he was in like an extra, or like he may not even have a speaking role. I have to check. I thought there was one other film earlier on where
movie?
You're putting me on the spot I would have to look it up. So we'll say for the sake of argument, he did one film. It's the only Hitchcock movie I saw in the movies because I was a kid. I was a young man.
Wow.
But it's the only Hitchcock movie I got to see in a movie.
I guess it's the only one. It's the only one I ever saw then too.
Although
I don't think I've since seen
sure.
Rear Window and North by Northwest on big screens.
Right.
But yes, when it was released, it's the only one I ever saw.
Yeah.
You're right.
Wow.
You're absolutely right.
So we have another thing in common, our love of films and having seen. Yes, I remember it was in the 80s when they finally legally were allowed to release in the States theatrically those Rear Window and Rope. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where it was like in the mid 80s.
His Universal movie. They were his Universal movie.
Oh, I see.
Man
Okay.
Who Knew Too Much.
Right.
Rear Window. They were all produced during his time at Universal.
Yeah, so I remember I was living in Boston, and I would go to the Brattle Theater, and they were just, releasing them once a month or something. I can't recall exactly, but I just remember seeing them all in the movie. I mean, what a great opportunity that was, as a young guy to be. But I was so into it.
Unbelievable. Absolutely. Yes, I had seen The Man Who Knew Too Much on Saturday night at the movies before I saw it again in the big theater.
Is that's a TV that was on TV? The Saturday Night at the Movies was back in the day, right?
Saturday Night at the Movies was NBC's
show
from 9 to 11. It was called Saturday Night. Literally Saturday Night at the Movies. That was NBC's Saturday night programming. Called Saturday Night.
Yeah, I remember it. Thank you for refreshing my memory.
I will tell you this as a little piece of. I know what was. On November 15th of 1969, what was on Saturday Night at the Movies? Isn't that an astounding thing? The reason why was because I was bar mitzvah that day, and we had people, we had the affair in the afternoon, and then we had people back to the house that night. Well, at 9 o'clock, Saturday Night at the Movies was on, and they were showing The Fortune Cookie.
Oh, my God.
Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau.
Of course.
So I excused myself from the party, and I watched The Fortune Cookie on Saturday Night Live at the movies on the night of my bar mitzvah.
And nobody thought that unusual. Nobody thought that was unusual that you were. And thank you for bringing it full circle back to Billy Wilder. But you
right again, Billy Wilder.
Isn't that beautiful?
I didn't want to spend time with all these adults. There was nobody there I wanted to spend time with. I wanted to go watch the movies.
Oh, I see. So your friends already they weren't there. Your buddies.
Oh, they all went home. Yeah,
okay. That makes, then that I would have probably.
And if they were, we all watched Saturday Night at the movies. We didn't want to be with the adults.
Right. I feel like I should spend a couple more minutes on Auggie. And, but let me ask you, though, how much more time you have, by the way? Just so I don't abuse your...
You're going to have to ask the man. I'm enjoying this conversation.
Oh,
I know
good.
That you'll have to ask the gentleman who's.
I understand, the publicist.
Together,
yeah.
Might be listening, but I don't know.
Kevin, if you're listening, just
if
don't.
If I were
don't
him,
rush.
I wouldn't be listening.
All right, so when you're playing Felix Greytsone. Felix, by the way, means happy. By the way, that's an interesting choice of names to give you, but because you're mostly very unhappy in the film, except when you're putting the augmented reality glasses on, and then your relationship with this fantasy woman, it keeps deepening and deepening.
It accelerates. My relationship.
It accelerates. That's all we need to say
about the movie.
To the degree
Is that I hold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I want to say something.
Do.
The one thing I had problems with during the movie, and I begged them to address this or cut it out or anything like that. That I am a man of a certain age and she is a very young girl, and whether or not we should have had this relationship, whether it be cinematic, storyline, anything like that, I have to tell you I did have my problems with it. I just want to go on record that I was not pleased with that. But they opted to keep it in and stuff like that. It's whatever they want. I did everything I could.
Well,
not to have that. In fact, I think the one bad scene in the movie is that simulation scene, and that's without a T. Simulation.
All right, I may leave that part.
Sex.
Yeah. I think you actually,
Yeah,
I have to say.
I wish you weren't there, and I don't think that I'm very good in the scene.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. I will say the issue of how you handled their relationship was done, it seems like very thoughtfully, because it doesn't.
That is correct.
I would still say it was handled very well. And, because obviously with the Me Too movement and all the rest, nobody can not think about that issue. It's no longer so easy for men like ourselves to just not consider those things socially and how.
Well, I agree. The reason why is because Auggie is a confidant. She's helping me, and actually she's a very strong person. It's very positive for the Me Too movement because she is wisely helping me through problematic times, and then it gets out of hand. That's right.
So is this in fact?
Okay, good.
Is this in fact your first dramatic lead role? Is it in a?
I don't get lead roles in movies.
Generally,
I don't get lead roles in movies.
Do you think?
But it's one reason why I like doing theater is because I only do theater if I get a lead role because it's too much effort, it's too much time, it's not enough money. So that if I do something on stage, it's got to be something I adore, and therefore I usually get the lead in when I do theater. Once or twice that hasn't happened. I was nominated for a Tony for a very, very dramatic role in a Clifford Odets play called The Big Knife, and I played a monster. It was very dramatic, and I was a heinous man. And it's I do a lot of stuff that people don't see. For instance, I did Auggie, which people will not see.
Once again,
people will say, "Oh, I didn't know you do drama." Jesus, I do opera. Nobody knows. I did an opera at Lincoln Center. I did the producers on Broadway.
That I remember.
I do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The work that I do, a great majority of people truly just don't see it and don't know it exists. And I've been working a lot lately, job after job after job, and I walk down the streets in New York and they go, "Oh, aren't you working lately? Are you still acting?" And I'm telling you, in the past year and a half, I've had over 30 jobs, easily over 30 different jobs, easily, and some of them have been recurring. Like Brockmire is a show on IFC. I did 7 out of 8 episodes. So I just keep working. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. It's a trove of riches as far as work. I've just been lucky. I'm not getting paid a lot, but I am just working and working and working.
Well,
luckiest guy in the world.
That's wonderful, and you not only enjoy, but you've embraced being the character actor because it affords you the opportunity. It sounds like to continuously do exactly what you described, right? If you were a leading man, it would be far fewer roles available to you. But maybe
you're absolutely right.
Yeah. But maybe this would be the if people see Auggie, and no one will, as we've established. But if
right.
Would you be taking more roles like this if you were offered the leading man, and it might stand in the way of more of the other types of roles you were describing?
Oh, of course I would. Of course I would. What I do is I take work. I am a journeyman working actor, and when work is presented to me, I rarely turn it down. It is truly a small. Everybody goes, "Why did you do that? Did you know it was lousy?" No, I knew it was work. I love working. I'm very lucky. Most people go to work and they don't like what they do, or they're doing it because they've got to make a living, or this is what they chose, and there's no way out. I'm lucky. I get to play pretend every time I show up.
You make it sound easy, but
I didn't say it was easy. I happen to like working hard. I love working hard. The harder the lines are. I've got to memorize. I'm doing a movie in Fargo, North Dakota, in 2 weeks. I'm doing 5 days. I have to learn. I am the very model of a modern major general. I've got to memorize that song.
Oh, really? It's
I've ever had to
Gilbert
do.
and Sullivan.
Yeah, from Pirates of Penzance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gilbert and Sullivan from Pirates of Penzance. I've got to memorize it. It's so difficult. I love that I'm working so hard. It's great. It's so great. The easy way out is to say, "Oh, I got to memorize this line. Turn this song. Turn it down. I don't want to do it." No. What a challenge. That's fantastic. I'm so happy. It's daunting. I'm scared.
But that's good too. They were very kind to me, no pun intended, as you have been, to give me as much time as you have. I would love to do another. I don't know how to make this happen, but maybe someday we could just just talk movies too. It would be a great amount of fun. I
would love it. I would love it. The people who arrange this can give you what number to call, and it would be great.
I will. Okay.
You're a student of film, and I'm a lover of film, so I would love to talk about it.
Well, that sounds great. And we'll try to figure out, given your schedule, when it would not be an inconvenience to you. But in the meantime, even though you described that it's going to not a whole lot of people see Auggie, I'm hoping that I can make a little difference and get a few more people out there to see it, whether in theaters or online.
I encourage people to see it. It's an interesting story. It is well done. It is a theme that we've seen many times. It started with, I could say it started with Hal in 2001. It actually started so many years before about the effect of machines or robots.
That's right.
Nowadays, it's especially pertinent. The movie Her is very reminiscent of this movie.
That's right.
This was done for a fraction of the cost of Her, and I'm not saying it's every bit as good, because I thought Her was a magnificent movie, but it'll give it a little bit of a run for its money.
Wow, great! I think they're going to be happy.
It's an adult story.
Yes, it is. It is.
If you see it, you're not going to curse it, but it's a very, very good movie. It's with adult themes, not of sex or of violence, but adult themes of. There are no car chases. There are no supervillains. It's just an interesting movie.
And it's out in theaters on September 20th with Richard Kind.
That is correct.
And
that is correct.
Thank you for
see it the final chapter before you see my movie, and then go see my movie. They have nothing in common. Just get it out of the way.
Good idea. Get it out of the way. All right.
That is correct.
All right.
Get that out of the way, and then go see my movie.
That works. Thank you,
okay.
Richard. Appreciate all your time.
Thank you.
Have a good trip to Fargo. Bye-bye. All right, you're welcome. Bye-bye. Oh, Richard?